Hey guys, and welcome to TechyTaca.
2019 was a year that witnessed many exciting releases in the smartphone industry, especially in the budget segment. Redmi had a great year with two major releases throughout the year. The Redmi Note 8 series were a hit thanks to its 64 megapixel primary camera, first of its kind in the budget segment at the time, along with the 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, 2 megapixel macro lens, and a depth sensor. The K20 series brought the pop-up front camera to the budget segment for the first time and also boasted a triple rear camera setup. But these two aren't the phones we have for today's video. The phone that's under the spotlight today is a phone that managed to pack in the best features that its competitors boasted whilst not compromising much. The phone we are talking about is the Realme X2, which can be considered to be an upgraded version of the Realme XT, which too was released in 2019. Let's have a look at why it's considered to be the most underhyped smartphone of 2019. The Realme X2 sports a gorgeous 6.4 inches Full HD Plus Super AMOLED display with an aspect ratio of 19.5:9 with a peak brightness of 430 nits. It also boasts a screen-to-body ratio of 91.9% thanks to its very small bezels and the dewdrop notch. The AMOLED display significantly reduces battery consumption as black pixels are totally turned off, and the phone also offers a feature to set up always-on displays. The X2 easily beats the Redmi Note 8 here, which has an IPS LCD display. Realme was one amongst the first brands that brought the in-display fingerprint sensor to the budget segment in phones below 20,000 rupees. They also put one in the Realme X2, which is quite snappy with a response time of 0.36 seconds. The animation while unlocking the phone is also made possible thanks to the AMOLED display. The Redmi Note 8 series trumped its competitors easily with the 64 megapixel camera that it introduced in the budget segment, paired up with the quad camera setup. Then came the XT with the same camera specs as the Note 8 series. The X2 soon took over with the same lenses with additional upgrades. It also had a 32 megapixel front facing camera that demolished all of its competitors. The X2 does struggle in low light conditions like most other budget smartphones, however. Now, you'd be thinking, if the X2 had the same features as the XT, why are we calling the XT the most unhyped budget smartphone of 2019? That's because the X2 had an upgrade over the XT in some facets, which we shall have a look at now. The X2 sported Qualcomm's gaming-centric Snapdragon 730G processor, while the XT had the Snapdragon 712. The 730G is an 8nm processor, which has better benchmark scores than the 10nm 712, and the 8nm process guarantees lower power consumption, improving battery life. The X2 also had the Adreno 618 GPU, which is an upgrade over the XT's Adreno 616. The X2 could handle any game you throw at it, including the ones we had covered in a previous video, which you can watch by pressing the sliding notification in the top right corner. The XT was already considered to be a great buy in the budget range with its 20-watt charger, but Realme with its X2 took it to a whole new level. The X2 could support charging speeds of up to 30 watts, which was unheard of in phones even below 25,000 back then. The 30-watt charger allowed for the X2 to charge to 65% in just half an hour and fully charge in 70 minutes. It was the X2's charging speed that made it a steal for its price. Okay, cool. If the X2 had such great features, why wasn't it being covered much? Well, that's actually what underhyped means, but let's have a look at that as well. First, Realme releases a lot of phones every year, unlike Apple which releases just 2 to 3 phones a year. The high frequency of releases doesn't give much room for improvement, meaning that a majority of the phones sport similar features like the XT and the X2. Secondly, its release came 2 months after XT's release, along with the X2 Pro, which was a phone that caught people's attention, leaving X2 in the mud. The Realme X2 is still a solid device to have at just 18,000 rupees and was easily the best budget segment smartphone at the time of its release. If you like this video, do give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this. Until next time, peace out.